Like every year I ask myself, what am I doing with my life? But also somehow I have a lot of fun every year. On one of these videos, somebody commented and said that I should wear a gown or a prom dress in the next one. And I haven't been able to get it out of my mind since. So here we are. This is the most prom dress-like thing I could find at the thrift store. Yes, I am wearing stockings. And no, the zipper won't do up. I just hate it. For a split second, I actually thought I was gonna enjoy this. Maybe because I was cold. Being cold might be a pleasant prerequisite, but then you get in the bath and you're immediately no longer cold. In fact, you're immediately too hot. Hi, everybody. My name's Alayna Joy, for any of you who don't know me. I usually make videos about the queer community on this channel, sex, dating, relationships, but sometimes, once a year, I get into my bathtub fully clothed and I answer your questions. Okay, this is a tradition around here. I don't even know how many years I've been doing this for now, but I do know that like the last 4, I've been in a new bathtub every time. A lot has happened in my life in the past 4 years, more than I can even begin to recap for you. But if this is the first time that you're seeing me, no, this is not what all my content looks like. Is that a disappointment to you or a relief? We may never know. Considering that I've kind of moved away from talking about my own life on this channel, this is gonna be interesting. So we'll see how this goes. I went on my Instagram and I asked you guys what you wanted to know. And you answered. You did. There are a lot of answers. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, what are you doing with your life? That's where the magic happens, including the place that I go to get questions for videos like this. So if you don't follow me over there, can you please? Because I'm so sweaty already. Okay, let's start with the first one. The first person that got in here says, how are you? Love your videos and the pod. I feel like we kind of have to answer this question in every Q&A. How am I? I am good. Life is full of wonderful things to the point that it's a bit too full. Since the last one of these videos, I have moved again. I've started my master's program. I've completely revamped my content production flow. Shout out to my editor. In order to make room for the master's program. The Chosen Family podcast is doing great and we're having so much fun making it. I'm still in a beautiful relationship. Things are good. I'm good. I'll leave it at that. Life is good. But before we get into the rest of the questions, I want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this week's content, Aura. Are you tired of constantly receiving spam calls? Calls from unknown numbers who claim to be your phone company and somehow have your personal information, so they convince you that they are your phone company and they're having a special on where you can get a new phone and new phone plan with unlimited data and everything else you could possibly want for only $69 a month. And it's so convincing that you believe them and you give them even more of your personal information and only realize later that you have been scammed. Just me? Well, Aura can help with that. Aura can identify data brokers who are making tons of money selling your personal information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. These data brokers are making a fortune selling your personal information to robocallers, spammers, and really anybody who wants to know more about you, including your address. Aura can do so much to protect you and your family from online threats. Invisible threats. It's super easy to set up. You don't have to download a bunch of different apps. All of the services I just listed are nice and neat and clean in their one single app. All you do is enter your information and within minutes, Aura has scanned the web and started notifying you about all of the different email addresses, passwords, sites where your data is being exploited. So let Aura do the work in keeping you safe online so that you can use your mind for other things. Getting into your bathtub fully dressed to talk to the internet about your personal life. I would seriously recommend checking out the link in my description, because even just signing up for the free trial, you get to see all of the places where your data is being exploited. So you can go to aura.com/AlaynaJoy to start your 14-day free trial. Free.
No strings attached.
What is something new you plan to try this year? I might, maybe, potentially, theoretically, start my own podcast. I'm in this kind of weird middle zone between two worlds. It feels like I have my school, counseling, therapy world on one side. That's what I'm in school for. And then my work, content creation world on the other side. And for 2024, I really want to continue bringing those things further together. Further together? Closer together. I also plan to work on my vocabulary. Because try to imagine this, right? You've seen my channel. I react to thirst traps. That's a big part of what I do. And a part of getting people to click on those thirst traps where I try to put some education in there. I try to make sure that in every video, there's the possibility that you leave having learned something. But still, the thumbnails, to get people to click on it, it's boobs. It's attractive women. It's clickbait kind of titles. And I'm trying to imagine what it would be like to be a person seeking therapy. And my name comes up somewhere and you're like, okay, let me give her a quick Google. And that's what comes up. I'm trying to figure out if I can still publicly be both. Where I'm going with this is starting my own podcast is a possible place for me to kind of continue to merge those two worlds. If I started a podcast where I would bring on guests and we would talk about queerness and sexuality and mental health and sex, dating, and relationships, right? It's on brand. That's something that I'm thinking about trying in 2024. I am dripping sweat. People get into baths to be clean. This does not feel clean. Will we ever meet your girlfriend? Probably not. For me, moving my personal life off of the internet has been one of the healthiest things that I've ever done. And for her, she is a very private person. That combination makes me feel like probably not. How's the water feeling? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Do you have a girlfriend? Kind of. Kind of. Yay, bath time! How do you feel about kids? Do you want kids in the future? I do. I do want kids. I've got a bunch right here on climbing. What are your climbing goals? I want to start climbing, but I'm not in my best shape currently. Any tips? I'm looking to start rock climbing. Any tips on what kind of workouts to start with? I can answer these all in one. First of all, you don't have to have any sort of prerequisite fitness level to start climbing. The prerequisite fitness level would be, can you climb a ladder? Yes? Then you can start climbing boulders on the wall. I didn't do any conditioning outside of actually going to the climbing gym and climbing for the first probably year and a half I was doing it. Just going climbing will make you stronger for climbing. Please don't feel like you have to get to a certain level of strength before you can even start. If you want to start, just go start. And then I've said this tip before, but it is my top tip for new climbers. It's the best tip I ever got. When you're on the wall, right? Whatever hand you're going to be reaching with, that's the foot you want to be pressing off of because you want your hip in the wall. It gives you extra length, it gives you extra stability. So if you are reaching for something with your right hand, try to push off of your right leg. It's gonna make you so much better as you continue to progress and get stronger. And in terms of my climbing goals for this year, I just wanna keep doing it. I just wanna keep it up because with my work and school balance right now, it's hard to even find time to get there. So I'm not making any specific improvement goals. My goal is to simply prioritize it enough to keep going. How do you know if you want to kiss her or just kiss someone? Imagine kissing someone who's not her. Do you still wanna? Then you probably just want to kiss someone. Queer book recommendations. Oh my god, so many. Cantoras, I've talked about this book for years. If you haven't read it yet, my god, absolutely beautiful. Oh, A Little Life. A Little Life. It's worth getting this much more of my body wet in this bathtub for. Trigger warning times 1,000, and it's not sapphic if that's a prerequisite for you. I have compared every book that I have read since to A Little Life. I will say no more. How do I know if I'm a bottom? Only because I'm inexperienced. Great question. Keep getting more experience. If you already have kind of a longer term partner, communicate to them that topping is something that you'd like to experiment with. You're curious and it's something you'd like to try. So that way that person's not like shocked if whatever you've been doing currently is their preference. And if you're just like exploring and like dating around, again, I'd say the answer is communicate. I feel like sexual communication is foreplay. It can be foreplay. And I wish that we would stop thinking about disclosing our wants or our do not wants as like this inherently unsexy thing. Like imagine being on a date with somebody and you start talking about sex and that person says to you, you know, I've mostly bottomed, but like I'm actually really curious about topping and I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but here's a few things I'd like to try. And then the other person being like, oh my God, that sounds fun. I'd love to try that with you. That can be part of the build-up. It can be part of the fun. Like, what an exciting thing. Why not a hot tub? Do you see how sweaty I am in a regular tub? Can you imagine me in a hot tub? I would pass out. How do I deal with a gremlin of a girlfriend? Lots of physical affection and food. Since grad school, is there any aspect of being a therapist that is harder than expected? Ooh, when somebody is speaking to me about what's happening in their life, learning how to shift from a desire to fix the problem to exploring the problem alongside the person, that has been a shift. It's harder than you would think to know what to say, to learn how to ask questions that help a person understand themselves and their situation better, rather than ask questions or give prompts that are leading them in a certain direction. Like the listening skills, love it, comes natural. The speaking skills, more difficult. So how does 2022 compare to 2023? Also, how has your style changed in 2023? My style is on a continuous and ever-evolving journey, it turns out, alongside myself. This water is turning pink. Where would pink be coming from? I have found in 2023 that while my comfort with my identity as a queer woman, as that has settled in, I have felt more able to explore my own femininity again. After I came out, I like swung masculine. I mean, as masculine as I could get. I'm not the most masculine person. It was the first time in my life that I was dressing myself without worrying about whether or not men would find me attractive, without trying to impress or appease men. And so that gave me the freedom to explore a more masculine presentation, you know, baggy t-shirts, button-ups, in a way that I hadn't felt like I could before or hadn't felt comfortable to before. And also I really wanted people to read me as queer. Whereas now, as that is kind of like settled in, I'm finding myself once again drawn to femininity. And, you know, I'm kind of playing with makeup a bit more again. My clothing is definitely toning down, and I'm really enjoying that. I think also being in grad school, when I'm choosing clothes, I'm not just imagining myself in front of a camera, I'm imagining myself in a classroom, sitting in a therapist chair. That has influenced the way that I've been dressing, but I just feel more and more comfortable and more confident, and that is fun. It is fun. Also, if your question isn't getting answered in this video, it's possible that I have answered it and it's just going in the Patreon bonus content. Every month I post a bonus video over on my Patreon with footage and behind the scenes and things that didn't make it to the main channel, if you're interested in that at all. I need to wrap this up. So many good questions. Okay, let's talk about the pets. I'm getting lots of questions about Julio, my dog, and someone asking about my cat, Bugs, meeting Julio, the dog. Let me talk about them for a little bit. So Julio was my girlfriend's dog when we met. She had had him for a year. He was still just little. Now he's been a part of my life for like 2.5. So he very much feels like my dog now too, but he came with her. They were a package deal. He's a rescue from Mexico. I don't know what kind of breed he is. We don't know. We haven't done one of those DNA test things. He was found at a marina in Mexico with his little puppy self, and he's an absolute sweetheart, and other than Bugs is the love of my life. Bugs is my cat, and as most of you know, she's 5? She's still a baby too. Julio and Bugs are both baby. I don't care how old they get. And them meeting was interesting because at first we were worried about Julio being a threat to Bugs because when they first met, he like growled at her a little bit. And so like we bought a baby gate. This was before we even lived together. We bought a baby gate for my place. And when she would come over, she would bring Julio. And then I would put Bugs like on the other side of the baby gate. So that way she could decide how much she wanted to meet him kind of thing. It was like a baby gate with like a cat door in it. And so they met like that for a while, which went pretty smooth. But then it turns out that he's scared of her. Then it became more keeping Julio comfortable when Bugs was around rather than keeping Bugs comfortable when Julio was around. But now they're totally chill. Like we were away for the holidays, and when we came home, he ran in the house and his tail's wagging, and Bugs comes running up and they're like kissing noses and his tail's wagging. And I think she misses him when he's not around because they like sleep together on the couch. The key is slow and steady with introducing pets, and make sure that each of them has somewhere that they can go if they're feeling uncomfortable, or like you end it and the interaction separate, because the last thing that you want is for them to have a really negative experience, because that's a lot harder to come back from than slowly building up their trust with one another. So that's that. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your second, third, fourth, fifth annual bathtub Q&A, thank you for being here. Thank you for still sticking with me. I know that my content and me have changed a lot over the decade that I've been on this platform. And so I am forever grateful and amazed that you guys stick around. And I hope that you'll continue to enjoy what I continue to make for 2024. I hope you had a happy new year. I hope that your holidays were okay. I know it's not an easy time for everybody. If you were a part of my Patreon for the holiday card promo, I hope that you got your card in the mail. And an extra thank you, as always, to my VIP patrons, my vitally important producers. You all make my world go round. If you haven't already checked out my Patreon, I do like gifts. I can't even call them giveaways because it's not a giveaway in the way that like you get a chance to win something. It's a giveaway as in I give everyone something. I send holiday cards. We have a private Discord. We have monthly virtual hangouts. You can get your name in the credits. There's bonus content. I really try to make my Patreon a valuable place for all of you because it truly is the only reason that I can continue doing this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And another thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. You can either let people continue to exploit and profit off your personal private information, or you can go to my link, aura.com/AlaynaJoy. It's also linked in the description, and start your 14-day free trial. And that's it for me. I'll see you again soon. Dry. Thanks for watching. Bye.